All right, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundant mindset. We are trying to get you to have an abundant mindset with this course, but I want you to see what the opposite of an abundant mindset looks like so that you can see where you are thinking or what you believe right now. Stephen Covey, who wrote the book Seven Habits of Highly Successful People, he coined the phrases abundance mentality and scarcity mentality. And the definition of each one is based on what someone believes. So let's look at the scarcity side first, which would be on your left. If you have a scarcity mindset, you believe that if someone wins, then I lose. There's not room for both of us to win. There's only so much out there, and if someone else gets it, there won't be enough for me. So you put limits on things. I feel jealous or less than when someone else has success. And this might mean that you believe because somebody else has succeeded in a life that you wanted, you can't have it. And then you feel jealousy towards them. Some words that are synonyms of scarcity would be deficiency, lack, infrequency, rareness, or wanting something. All right, let's switch over to abundance. In an abundance mindset, you would believe that there are enough resources and successes to share. I control what abundance looks like for me. I was born to thrive and have abundance. And when I succeed, we all succeed. And we're going to talk more about all of those four things as we move along into these lessons. But the difference between this is that in an abundant mindset, you know there's enough for everyone. In a scarcity mindset, you think that there are limits. A scarcity mindset is similar to a fixed mindset that says everything has a limit. And if you don't have it, you won't get it. And then on the opposite side, an abundance mentality is similar to a growth mindset that says you can always learn how to do more and your only limit is your imagination. I read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck, who studied what differentiated people who succeed from those who fail. And you guessed it, the answer was mindset. When I read that book and was preparing for a webinar about growth mindset, I discovered that I was living with a fixed mindset. In a fixed mindset, you quit when things get hard. Sometimes you feel unworthy or you're afraid to try new things. Where in a growth mindset, like I mentioned earlier, you always know that you can learn how to do more and you don't have to limit yourself. Have you ever heard the phrase, the rich get richer? It depends on which way you think of yourself because that is always true. If you think that you are not rich and other people are rich, and they just because they're rich, they just get richer and more opportunities come to them and so forth. But on the other spectrum, if you're thinking in an abundance mindset, if you believe that you're rich, and rich doesn't have to necessarily be with only money, then you will get richer. That law of attraction comes in here. If you believe that you're rich, you will get richer. And that is a abundant mindset mentality. All right. The key to knowing whether you have a scarcity or an abundant mindset is just being aware of how you think, because when you are aware, it becomes easier to recognize and then to change when you need to. And that's what we're going to talk about in the upcoming lessons. But before we get to that, I want to just have you take a look at where you are now. Now that you know the difference between the two, between scarcity and abundant, let's look at some of those different areas of your life and see where you're at.